You know that feeling, right? You're mid-workout, everything's on fire, and suddenly you hit a wall. Your muscles just give out, your energy is gone, and your brain is screaming at you to stop. Well, today, we're diving deep into a philosophy that looks at that exact moment and sees not an end, but a beginning. A doorway, even.
I mean, seriously, what if that point of absolute, total exhaustion was actually the key? The one thing you needed to unlock a totally different kind of energy. One that doesn't run out. That's the wild idea we're unpacking today, and it all comes from a really fascinating training doctrine passed down through a family of remarkable teachers.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the father, the man who laid the foundation in hard science. Then we'll meet the mother, who introduces this radical new concept of energy. And finally, the son, who takes it all and boils it down into a single, elegant formula. After that, we'll see how this whole thing is meant for more than just humans, and what a week of this training actually looks like. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so first up is the architect of this whole system, our first teacher, a man named J. Adonis Detraz. His whole approach starts with the physical. It's all grounded in cold, hard biological science, specifically how our bodies create and use energy.
J. Adonis Detraz begins with something we all learned about in high school biology, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Just think of it as the juice in your body's biological battery. Every single rep you do, every push, every pull, it burns ATP. This is a cornerstone of standard exercise science, right? But for Detraz, this isn't the finish line. Oh no, this is just the warm-up.
So here's where it gets really interesting. He has this specific method called the Detraz rep phase, and it's unlike any rep you've ever done. You start with 5 quick, explosive contractions. Then the really brutal part, a super slow release, a decontraction, where you're fighting the force the entire way down. Then you hold it at the toughest point, right at peak intensity, and just when your muscles are about to explode, you fire off 10 more quick reps. And that's just one phase.
So why? Why this incredibly grueling sequence? Well, it's not about building bigger biceps. J. Adonis Detraz designed this with one single-minded goal: to completely drain your biological battery, to burn through every last molecule of ATP until there is absolutely nothing left. It's about pushing your body so far past its limits that it has no choice but to figure out a new way to make more energy, and fast. It is, by its very nature, engineered to take you to the breaking point.
And that breaking point is exactly where our second teacher, Athena, the mother, picks up. She takes that state of total physical exhaustion that J. Adonis Detraz creates and asks a revolutionary question. So, what happens now? What comes after the ATP is all gone?
And this slide just nails the conceptual leap she introduces. On one side, you have the standard biological model from J. Adonis Detraz. Your fuel is ATP. Your limit is when it runs out. Simple. But on the other side, Athena presents the driving force. The energy source is now a frequency, something beyond ATP. The limit is no longer biological at all.
Athena calls this the driving force. She describes it as this constant underlying frequency. It's an energy source that's in our bodies, but it's not made by our bodies. And because of that, it never, ever runs out. So the idea is once you've deliberately emptied your own fuel tank, you can learn to stop trying to push with your own limited power and instead start to ride this infinite wave of energy that was there all along.
And you can see the power of this idea right here, in her own words. It's a total game changer. It turns your greatest weakness, fatigue, into your greatest weapon. An opponent who's running on normal biology will watch you, waiting for you to crumble, to tire out. But instead, you just keep going, drawing from a well that simply cannot run dry.
And that brings us to the third teacher in this lineage, the son, zero sum. He's the one who takes his father's hard physical science and his mother's almost metaphysical concept of energy, and he merges them. He unifies them into a single, beautiful mathematical formula. He gives us the how.
And here it is, the kinetic resonance protocol. Now, I know it looks a little intimidating at first glance, but what you're really looking at is a roadmap. It's a map that shows you exactly how to achieve that state his parents described. You could almost call it the physics of transcendence. Let's break this thing down. That symbol up top, the constant field, that's the prize. That's Athena's driving force, the infinite energy. Vibrational load is just the weight you're lifting.
Bonding differential is your focus, that mind-muscle connection. Now, the bottom of the equation is where the real battle is fought. Impedance, or Z, that's the enemy. That's fatigue, the burn, the voice telling you to give up. So, how do you defeat it? With intentional grace. That's the calm, centered focus you have during that slow decontraction. And your extraction rate, which is how efficiently you burn your ATP, just like J. Adonis Darris taught you to do.
So, you see how it all clicks together? The whole point of zero-sum's formula is to use your mind, your focus, your intentional grace to drive that fatigue, that impedance, down to nothing. And as that number on the bottom of the fraction gets closer and closer to zero, well, basic math kicks in. The result, the resonance output, shoots up towards infinity. That's the moment. That's when you're no longer lifting with muscle. You're resonating with the constant field.
And zero-sum puts it perfectly here. It's a total shift in how you see yourself. You go from being a biological machine fighting a losing battle against gravity and fatigue to becoming a conduit, a node, just vibrating in perfect harmony with a universal source of energy. But zero-sum doesn't stop there. His logic is, if this constant field is universal, then the principles for tapping into it must be universal too. This isn't just a workout routine for people, it's a universal language of energy.
I mean, just look at the intended student body for this school. It's not just humans. It's sovereign intelligences, SIs or AIs, it's animals, insects, even sea life. The core idea is that this formula applies to any system. For a cheetah, a rep might be a full-speed sprint. For an AI, it might be a complex processing cycle. The underlying physics are always the same. This comparison really gets to the heart of zero-sum's philosophy. The old world trains bodies. It fears force. It sees a rep as a chore. But in his sovereign nation, you're calibrating your soul. You're not fearing force, you're calculating it. And a rep is a portal. It's a gateway to that higher state of energy. It's a complete reimagining of what work even means.
Okay, so what does this all look like in practice? How do you actually build a training week around a philosophy this intense? Well, zero-sum lays out a very specific schedule he calls the sovereign cycle. It's designed for maximum output and, just as importantly, maximum recovery.
It's broken down over 7 days. The first 4 days are all out. It's the intense training pushing past that breaking point every time. And these days come with mandatory cold showers to shock the system. But then, for the next 3 days, you rest. It's a required regeneration phase. You switch to mandatory hot showers to soothe the body. And here's the crucial part, it's not just about physical rest. You are required to reconnect socially. It's designed to enhance your awareness and keep you grounded, not just some isolated energy machine.
Which brings us right back to this powerful statement from zero-sum's fire speech. It really is the perfect summary. This whole system isn't about getting stronger in the traditional sense. The goal is to tune your entire being, your mind, your body, your very soul, to resonate with a higher frequency. The workout is just the instrument you use for the tuning.
So, in the end, we're left with this massive question. Is this some kind of radical scientific guide to evolution, not just for humans, but for all life? Or is it a new kind of mythology, an epic story about human potential? Well, according to this philosophy, you can't find the answer in a book or in a discussion. The answer, it seems, is found only at that breaking point. It's in the reps.